Hello and welcome to a rather unusual episode of Quiarcus Plays Space Hulk Ascension. Unusual in that I had a whole host of issues with this game when I was recording it, and it's resulted in me pretty much losing the voiceover I did and a host of other technical issues, including the sound for the first third of the game as well. So if you can't hear clicks and stuff, they will come back, just not for a while. Now, this does mean that I'm recording this voiceover after the game has been played, so it'll be a little bit different this time, and I apologise for that. So starting off, I decided that rather than trudge through the Space Wolf campaign, I would return to Reroute and give it a go. And as such, I was just trawling through our characters here to make sure there wasn't any skills I was perhaps missing. And so that not, so to go straight for Reroute. Let's see if I manage it this time. It's been a bit of a bugbear, this mission, if you've been watching the videos for the past few weeks. It's really got me stumped just because of the whole horde nature. So it's the fact that you have to get to an exit point as well as activating the power on this one. So you've got to trudge across the whole map and then move slowly back. Now my thinking this time was that I would take a different route to the usual one. I tried the north route and the middle route, so I thought this time that I would try the southern route and give that one a go. It seemed to work quite well for the previous mission. We got reasonably far last time, so I thought I'd give that another go. And just deploy my squad as usual. I did toy with the idea of putting the flamer in front briefly and have him lead. Oops, sticky mouse there. But decided against that. I thought I'd keep our sequencing standard, and that I would try and push forward as quickly as I possibly could in an effort to get to the spawn points, seal some of them off perhaps, before the gene sealers started to swarm too badly. Because the problem with this level is, of course, is that as the gene sealers spawn in, their numbers get greater and greater before they reach you, and by the time you actually see them, you can have quite a significant number to deal with, which is a little bit annoying. And you can see there I've got the first Zenus movement already in the South Passage, but nothing else so far. So not too bad, not too bad. I traipse around to the end here, turn my captain down this way so that he would be able to shoot anything that came forward. It does slow the group down a little bit, but not too badly. Now, my thinking was that I could perhaps send one Terminator down to seal that spawn point with a mine and keep the rest of them moving forward while another one defended this corridor that they're currently in. So move our captain down, our sergeant, and again put him on overwatch and reload his weapon. Just for this turn. Move the flamer forward, because again my intent is to keep moving. And there we go, you see I put one guy guarding the rear, guarding that long corridor. And then bring some others down. Put him on overwatch just in case my sergeant gets killed. Not been terribly confident with this mission, given the number of failures I've had on it. It does kind of knock your confidence a little bit. And you can see a Broodlord automatically there, 2 Broodlords. And animations here cock up, but thankfully that did a number on me when I saw it. That did a real number on me, because the animation didn't play correctly. I thought I'd lost the sergeant already. And there's a few times like this where for some reason, I don't know why, it's not the recording messing up, it's actually the game messing up a little bit. So there's a couple more instances as we play through where you'll see some graphical hitches. And it's not actually the recording at fault, it is the game. Something's going on there. I don't know quite what. Actually, it's probably more likely to be my computer. My computer's getting a little bit old. I suppose it could be the CPU starting to just wear a little thin. There you go, you can see I'm sending one trooper down to seal off that spawn point. And our rear guard does a pretty bad job in his first turn. Now I start to move forward here. Bring Theon up into a position where he's going to be able to guard this approach. And he's doing a pretty good job so far, Theon. It's one of these sort of tough missions just because of the sheer volume of numbers you're facing. And with the bolters, you can take out hordes and hordes of gene stealers, thankfully, but still they can overwhelm you, especially in these tight conditions. The benefit we had with Extreme Prejudice was that we were able to get into that nice wide corridor and bring our Terminator's firepower to bear. And it's just something that you can't do on this mission. Certainly not in these stages anyway. Oh, another Broodlord, that's fun. But he's so far away, he shouldn't be an issue. But these narrow corridors are really what kills your Terminators, because you can only have one Terminator firing at a time, in any direction. Don't know why I put him on Overwatch, just a small mistake there. Dumped off the mine, and turned him around, and pushed him back up, ready to rejoin the rest of the group. Let me just decide to take this guy out. Once. Twice, there we go. Theon's so far doing a good job. Can't remember, yeah I do. I push him forward one square just to keep troops moving. And again, give him a nice long look down this corridor. I reload his weapon, put him onto Overwatch. Then move everybody else up. Now we do get a little bit bogged down here, just defending against all these hideous gene stealers. And you can see just how many we're already facing. Just look at all those blips going off. And again, the beauty of the melee again. That takes him off of Overwatch. I don't know how many Theon ends up killing in melee. But the benefit you have with the bolter is that it's got 12 shots and it doesn't overheat. So if you're on Overwatch, you can take a total of 12 shots. Whereas most of the storm bolters, unless you have a load of bonuses to it from weapon crates throughout the flash missions. Boom. Thought I'd zoom in and show that guy blow up. Unless you have a load of bonuses on those storm bolters, they can only fire a maximum of 5 times before they overheat. And that's 5 dead gene stealers, or a few dead broodlords, because of course they fire 2 shots each the time they fire, but it's not as efficient as the standard bolter. Thankfully that acid on the floor kind of stopped the gene stealers in their tracks, but look at how many blips we have on screen there. I decided to use the plasma here. It's not terribly effective because of course these guys have got more than 1 hit point, so it does do a reasonable job at clearing things out. But you can see the weapon heat starting to creep up, and I decide to switch back to the standard bolter. And you can see what I mean, we've got kind of bogged down a little bit here. Just because of the sheer number of Gene Stealers, I can't afford to move forward. The rear's looking clean though. Theodric's doing a pretty good job there. I do toy with the idea of sending Theodric and another Terminator back up north to kind of split the Gene Stealers. So there's not quite so many coming in one go or in one direction, but I end up not doing that. I keep the group together, reasoning that they're going to get overwhelmed no matter which way, so it might be better just to have all that firepower in one space. So, getting a little tired of standing one spot, I start to push the group forward. Slowly but surely. Just always aware of keeping an eye out for flesh hook Gene Stealers and things like that, because they can make your day miserable really quickly in this game. Finally start the conga line moving. Leave our rear guard there. I did actually toy with the idea of leaving him there permanently and basically sacrificing him just to keep the rear lines secure, but I thought that might be a little grim. You can just see how many Gene Stealers we're dealing with here. Look at all those. Good lord. Now this is why this mission's so hard. I mean, basically there's just a wall of teeth and claws in front of us. Look at that. Well, maybe if we do get another Space Hulk game, it would be quite entertaining to see them implement some sort of physical mass system whereby if you kill so many Gene Stealers, the corridor gets blocked and you have to clear it, or the Gene Stealers have to clear it, because as you'll see with this mission, this corridor just becomes a slaughter fest. And there are so many Gene Stealers killed along this stretch that it's just not funny. There's so many bodies on the ground already. And you see there, Flesh Hook Gene Stealer. So I switch over to the plasma and it misses. So I take another shot, I think. No, I'd say go on to Overwatch. Which is dangerous because that's a Flesh Hook Gene Stealer and he could really mess things up for me. But I need to be on Overwatch. And as you can see, he Flesh Hooks, pulls Theon in, engages in melee, and whack! Theon does a pretty good job here. How many he got down? 2. Broodlord. And this is pretty tough fighting a Broodlord in melee. But Theon does it. That's what, 4 Gene Stealers now? Oh, and here we go. There's those feeder tendrils, but Theon keeps on fighting. That's 5, 6 now? 7 of them. 8 of them. 9. Theon's an absolute beast in this sequence. 10. He does so much work. 11. 12. And that's pretty impressive for a Terminator. He took out 12 Gene Stealers in melee combat. So I was pretty chuffed there that he actually survived, and we've seen that go south so many times in this series. So to see him survive was kind of really good feeling. And switch to the plasma, and it does a good job, clears out that corridor a little bit for us. And here you can see another little glitch. It's saying there's a target there, but there isn't, so I'm not quite sure what was going on. I take another shot with the plasma, just speculatively, and go into Overwatch again. So you killed a lot, but still haven't been able to move forward. There's just so many gene sealers here that it's next to impossible to move through. So instead I decided to take it slowly and just inch my way forward, as you do have to sometimes in this game. Now we get lucky here in that he kills that gene sealer as it's moving into his line of sight. We got another Broodlord. Thankfully, because that Broodlord is so slow, he actually blocks up a lot of the gene sealers that would be coming for us, which gives us a great advantage here, because we're not facing half as many gene sealers as we perhaps would have to. So there we go, we take that one down. And then I decide here to move forward. My hope is that I can get far enough forward that I can use the melter on our gene sealer. But unfortunately, kind of leave myself in an odd position there, especially considering the flamer is the second guy in the row here. Now I take a really big risk here, and I actually, oh, and there you go, the sounds come back. I actually go forward and use up all his action points and gamble on him being able to defend in melee. And I make a huge mistake here. My intention was to turn him around and shoot with the multi-melter, but with the melter pistol, sorry. But he only has 5 action points. Now, that was because he was in Overwatch, and it's a mistake that I don't pick up on. Even there, when I'm setting him to Overwatch, I don't realise that he's got plenty more AP to use. And it's kind of annoying. And he does a good job. He takes down quite a few gene stealers actually here. But of course he runs out of ammo. And there you go, his gun's dry now. Theon takes one down, but we lose Hagen because of that mistake. So we're already down to... We're down to 4 already, and we've lost our flamer. And as you guys know, I absolutely love my flamers. I use them prodigiously where possible, because they're so useful for blocking and killing masks. So I take a little bit of revenge here. Give him a whack on the back with the power fist, but of course he's got 2 hit points, so it doesn't kill him.
Let them fall before us.
Which is a shame. And then we just give him a friendly shot to the face. There we go.
No mercy.
And we move up. Now here, we move forward, take out our target, and then, thankfully, because this is a combi flamer, we actually use the flamer to just block this corridor off a bit, stop them coming down this way. There we go, all toasty. And our poor Sergeant Theon, he did such a wonderful job again last turn. Takes to trying to hammer these gene stealers. Plasma not being very effective this time around for some reason. I've seen it do wonderful things, the plasma, and I've done wonderful things with it, but for some reason this game just doesn't really materialize as a useful weapon.
Securing area.
So we're down to 4 Terminators already, and I think we're a little bit further than we've been before. Not that much further. Gene Sealer tries to get through the flame to the north, fails thankfully. Again, poor Theon's taken out of Overwatch, which, you know, I mean, it's annoying, but thankfully somehow he hangs in there, at least for now. Uses Power Sword, free kill. Always worth taking those free kills when you get them. Save your weapon unsaving you and reloading your weapon, which would take 2 AP, because you have 1 AP to fire and then you have to reload as well. So we're getting into new territory. I don't quite know why I don't use more of my AP there to clear out the corridor. Oh, I do. There we go. Now you see what I should have done was fired first and then reloaded after I'd finished firing. As that would have been far better. You see I've got 2 shots rather than just the 1. But there we go. Little mistakes happen every now and again.
Flank secured.
Move forward. I contemplate flaming there, but yeah. Didn't seem worth it. And then change my mind and use the focus flame instead.
Let them fall before us.
Just to keep us protected from that northern route. I put him onto Overwatch as well, just as a precaution. Now you can see now that we've got a bit of breathing room. The hordes aren't quite as numerous. I mean, there's still a lot of them, but it's not as bad as it was initially. We've kind of got through one of the waves. And I often think this happens in the game, is that you get Gene Stealers coming in waves. So you'll get a huge concentration of them will flood forward one time, and then you'll get a little bit of a dip in their numbers. And it's, if you can wait out for those dips, and that guy's very lucky Gene Stealer.
Multiple targets acquired.
Fired the plasma there. Didn't intend to. I forgot that it was the active attack. I do that a couple of times, I think, through this playthrough. But if you can wait, as I was saying, if you can wait out some of those harder waves by being stationary, you can actually push far further forward, and you can get moments where you're able to scurry in underneath the Gene Stealer's radar, if you like. Now, this is a pretty long mission, sadly. Oof. Took a few kills there, a few shots there to kill them, but you can see now that we're getting into using more than one Terminator, our chances of survival seem to be going up a lot more. I'm just scouting out here, trying to figure out where I'm supposed to go. I think it was the last video where we went north and ended up being blocked. The path I'd wanted to take actually turned out to be a dead end. Take a little bit of a risk here moving forward as far as I do.
The enemy will fall before me.
Because it gives me far fewer shots at these blips coming down this corridor. Which isn't what you really want. Now I split the group up a little bit here. Just take that shot and seal off that corridor. And then march him to there so that I can turn him around and protect our rear line should anything get through. I'm also starting to worry a little bit here about how much flamer fuel I have, and there we go. Poor Theon taken off of Overwatch again. But he's being an absolute legend, he really is here. I don't think I've ever seen a Terminator survive quite so many close combat attacks as Theon does. He's quite the legend. Alright, so we start to push forward. There we go, we clean out these sides here. Just clean out all the opposition I can before putting him onto Overwatch and reloading his weapon. You see, I take another look forward. I think I can see up front a wide corridor, which I'm hoping I can get into.
Securing area.
But it certainly feels like, or certainly at the time, I was feeling like I was getting past perhaps a little bit of the difficulty of this level. My Terminators were all quite healthy, all in good condition. You know, ammo wasn't a problem. There wasn't too many Gene Stealers pressing in. I mean, you could still go pairs up. but I was starting to feel that perhaps the luck gods were on my side this time.
Enemy inbound. Enemy sighted.
I mean, look at how many Theons killed. If you look back along the corridor behind them, you can just see a river of red. And that's predominantly Theon. He's been an absolute beast. And here we go, another melee attack. He's out of ammo. Just how much more can the guy do? So you can see we've got an acid maw behind us. I reload here because I know that I'm going to be moving into a fight, and I pray that this isn't a Broodlord in front of me, which thankfully it wasn't. Now my hope here is that I can push forward to the spawn point and actually block it off, give us an opportunity. But sadly, it's not to be, not this turn anyway. So I push. I check here, just make sure that no Gene Stealers could get to me if I stand in that junction. It's a gamble, but I want to guard. It would be difficult to guard all three directions without causing Terminators to move backwards, which you don't really want to do because it takes so much, so many action points.
No mercy.
There we go, put him back on Overwatch, reload his weapon. End the turn. I'm going to be a little bit lucky here in that Gene Stealer runs out of AP, can't move, blocks the path north, and then everything coming around to the side can't reach him. So we get lucky there. I'll move down, block this point, and reload his gun. And we take a step back. For some reason he doesn't shoot, and it's because that other Gene Stealer props up to his side. It gives you the opportunity as to who you want to shoot at. But I'm not daft. I use the Flamer instead to clear that corridor out.
Drive them back.
But I'm starting to become aware of just how much Flamer fuel I'm using and how much I've got left. Kind of move back a little bit exposed here, but I'm confident that Theodoric will be able to get into this point and go on to Overwatch, which he can, just about. Just about. It was a little bit risky, because if that had gone wrong, I'd have been in deep trouble. And I'm just looking at the path as to where I have to go, and you can see it's still a long way to get to the PowerPoint.
I have movement, brothers. Beware, behavior. They are close, brothers. Target.
Missile. Xenos are falling like flies at the moment. Feeling pretty good. I can see the exit point just south of us, so I know where I have to get to on the return, which is useful. It's the first time I've seen that. Got further now than we ever have before, which is amazing. We take Eberic and block off this spawn point. And Eberic actually carries 2 mines, which is quite handy. Back him up, and move another Terminator in. And I think this is the first time they're able to actually get 2 Terminators facing in the same direction and actually being able to deploy their weapons simultaneously. And it makes a big difference. It really does. You certainly get 12 shots, but just the fact that each Gene Stealer is getting shot twice as it comes around a corner is a big boon, a really big boon. Right, move back a little bit here. So I deal with this Feeder Tendrils Gene Stealer before we can get too close. Unfortunately he misses, so I just leave him for now until I've moved the rest of the squad. I'm contemplating here using the Tarantula in this room, but decide against it eventually in favour of moving forward, and I can just see ahead of us now this broader corridor,
enemy will fall before me.
which is ultimately where I think deploying the tarantula will be best. So I hold off on using it. And here I deploy the Terminators so that they can overwatch down this corridor. I move Theodoric back to leave Eberic on rearguard duty. And just move him into a position where he can't get shot and reload his weapon with that last AP. I did contemplate using the Flamer there, but I thought I'd give Eberic some XP for this mission. And he does a pretty good job of it. As you can see. One Gene Stealer. What were you thinking, Eberic? Okay, Broodlord, but he does miss, which is unusual because he's the rear guard, and usually the rear guard has been awesome so far in this series. So we're starting to get a little bogged down again because we've got so many angles of attack here. So many places the Gene Stealers can come from that it's hard to guard everywhere efficiently. But we do our best. You can see now that this broad corridor is in sight.
Moving out. They are close, brother.
Take a shot down there, and then it's a Broodlord, so that's wonderful. Another one. And I use the Flamer here just to block this path off so that Gene Stealers can't or won't come up it, and then move him forward. And put Theodoric into an overwatch position. There we go.
Securing position.
He's only got one hit point left, so instead of using the melter, I just fire once. Using the melter would have killed him definitely, and probably the Gene Stealer behind him. But I just didn't want to use those because I didn't know how many Broodlords I was going to encounter on this one. I mean, there's one right behind him there. So I take a shot trying to get a hit point off of him, fail, reload his weapon, put him into overwatch, and just pray for the best. So again, poor Theon, he loses his ability to overwatch, and he gets a little bit swarmed here again.
The machine spirits guide my fire.
Thankfully though, that Gene Stealer runs out of AP in right the right place, and Eberic is able to deal with the Gene Stealers coming down this corridor. He kind of redeems himself this turn compared to last turn's performance.
They are close.
Just see a whole wave of Gene Stealers. We get a little bit bogged down here, just because there are so many of the Blighters coming up at us. I try and take a shot there, miss. Move forward to take this guy out. Theon's starting to waver a little bit, and he's going to be caught in melee combat again. And how many times does this poor chap get caught in melee this game? Turn around, kill that. I go on to Overwatch here because I'm pretty confident that nothing's going to come around behind us. I have to leave Eberic here for a little bit longer, just because he can't safely disengage at the moment.
Our righteous skill. Xeno's contact spotted.
And you can see how many Gene Stealers we're getting swarming up from the south there. We're not getting any respite.
Weapon at the ready.
Which is the problem with this mission again, is that there are so many spawn points
Enemy inbound.
and so many Gene Stealers that you just don't get a moment's rest. And poor Theon again. But he keeps on trucking, does old Theon. I think if there's a most valuable team member award, then he would get it hands down. These absolute legends this time round. I've lost track of how many he killed in melee here, but
Drive them back.
good lord, he's done well this game so far. He's been slaughtering them like nobody's business.
Drive them back.
That extra defensive bonus that the Imperial Fists get really, really pulls off here. I mean, just look at it. He is tearing them apart at the seams. And he keeps on going. He's the gift that keeps on giving.
The monstrosity. Target.
But, you know, as cool as that is, you can get a little bit too cocky here. So, as a safety measure, I ultimately decide to plump down the tarantula turret. I have a think about it, think about how much damage this guy could do, and I end up putting the tarantula right in the middle of the junction, right there. Because as we saw, the tarantula can't actually fire at a target that's attacking it, but to attack it you have to move into a square sort of on the straight, on the fronts.
For enemy movement.
So I'm pretty confident that we'll be safe here. But I have said that before, and we all know how that's turned out. So, well, we'll see. We'll see. So it continues to move south here in an effort to perhaps divert some of them, and also to try and get into range of that southern spawn point so that we can seal it off. Also decide to move Eberic up with the others, but keep him facing rearwards to help him defend this region, just in case something comes around that corner. And here we go.
Let them come.
And the Broodlord does a sort of a Michael Jackson impression there, moonwalks into the lines of the tarantula, which seems to be having all sorts of graphical hitches, and this is what I was talking about at the beginning of this video. There's a couple of things going screwy here, which have resulted in me having to do this voiceover for one. There we go. Tarantula taking care of business there. Fantastic little device that it is.
Beware the
You can just see the plumes of blood in the camera up in the top corner there. It takes out more and more of the gene sealers before they can even get close. Our rear guard just picking up a target there.
Xenos contact spotted. Contact.
You can see in a second that we only have 90 shots left, so in one turn it expended 110 rounds of ammunition, which is pretty phenomenal, really. And here we're just skipping across quickly to try and get to these furthest spawn points. Try and shut them down. Move Eberic back so that he has space to fire at that gene sealer as it approaches, and we move Theodoric in to seal off this spawn point to stop anything else from coming out of here. So we've just got that one spawn point, but I've left Theodoric overlooking that area. I was hoping that he'd be able to see a gene sealer come through. Again, glitchy animation, but we actually do defend against that attack there. And another one. I don't know quite what happened in this particular mission, but we have been incredibly lucky so far with our melee. Yeah, think of the number of Theons killed so far. It's quite remarkable. So, decide to back up a little bit more.
Clear a path.
And just stay on Overwatch there, just in case any more gene seals come down this way. But they should be pulled towards the main body of the Terminators, so they'll come into this main corridor. And we're just going to do our mind trick here. I don't feel great about doing that, but it's in the game, and that's how it works, so I'm not going to feel guilty about using it. Not too guilty anyway. So just approach with Theon. He has a string of misses here, but does get rid of it for slipping into Overwatch.
Securing position.
And there we go. Just in case he's facing out into the main corridor, should something manage to get past the Tarantula. And we're quite safe here, but again, Eberic misses his target. Not having much luck there.
Enemy sighted.
So we move him out. I decide it's best just to run with him and let the Tarantulas deal with it. I love the way, I've only just noticed that, but I love the way the Tarantula actually turns to face the enemy as it's revealed. I hadn't actually noticed that touch before. It's quite neat. And we move Theodoric up and put him onto Overwatch, just in case. You can see he fires off a shot at something way off in the distance.
Scanning for enemy movement.
There we trying to get up this corridor here, and rather vexingly, it turns out to be a dead end. So I've moved these Terminators down here, and now I've got no way out of this area except for to go back into the main section. You know, just have a quick look to see if there's anything there, but there isn't. So I've got no choice but to turn around and head back out. So Tarantula once again doing work, keeping us safe, blasting those nasty gene seals into little gibs. So much blood. You can see now that we're into the long corridor, we've got much more opportunities for killing these guys. It's becoming a lot easier. And you can see there that the Tarantula finally runs out of ammo by the looks of it. I move Theon up, and I move Markov forward to provide covering fire here, while I use Eberic to traipse forward. And don't know what I was thinking there. I could have moved him fully forward there and blocked off that spawn point entirely, but for whatever reason I didn't. Strange decision, but not too bad, it would appear. He runs out of ammo, one gets into melee range of him, but doesn't have enough AP to do anything else. And you can see the Tarantula's now completely out of ammo, so we're back down to basic fighting. So I decide to move Theon up, hoping that he'll take something out, but he decides to automatically fire at a target miles away rather than the nasty alien threatening to eat his face off. I also move Markov up to provide overlapping fields of fire. And he actually hits a target. You just saw the blood plume in the camera up in the top corner. Just debate here whether to use the flamer and instead settle on taking a couple of shots with the bolter before reloading. At 60%, I mean, it's a pretty good chance of hitting. Okay, he misses that one, but it's worth doing. Thins the crowd a little, gives him a bonus to hit on the next shot as well. Now we're out of ammo here, so we quickly reload. 89% chance of shooting this guy. Bang, he's dead. And then we move on in. Traipse through the blood of our enemy. And here's where you see again, just the benefit of having multiple Terminators being able to cover a corridor. Nothing gets close. As long as you've got a good distance from doors, two Terminators can quite happily cover anything. Now, of course, if the Gene Stealers had come down the western corridor there, towards that large fan array, then we'd have been in trouble. They could have got behind our lines perhaps, but they didn't, so I just creep the Terminators forward, square at a time, just see what they can kill. And I'm lucky here that they're killing with each shot. But so not to press my luck too much, I'd rather bring the Terminators together, all 4 of them that are left.
Flank secured.
Sort of at this point that I'm starting to feel a little more confident about the level.
Going into Overwatch.
Things are kind of under control at the moment. They haven't thrown many Broodlords at me for a while now, which is good. I'm not entirely sure how the game handles the deployment of Broodlords, whether it's just a flat percentage chance as to when they appear, or there's something more complicated going on there. But whatever it was, I got quite lucky, or I've been quite lucky so far with this one. We move up to block that spawn point, and we're going to keep Eberic there to keep that spawn point capped while the other Terminators advance. This gives us the benefit of forcing the Gene Stealers to spawn further away from us, which of course gives us more chance to kill them before they get close, because they've got a lot further to run. So he's out of ammo. I didn't notice and I attacked, which caused him to fire his flamer, because I didn't realise that he'd run out of ammo. It was only when I saw that I realised that I'd wasted a flamer shot.
Securing position.
Which you don't really want to do. I mean, you want to keep your flamers for essential situations or for blocking corridors. But there you go. Lesson learned. Always check your ammo before you fire. Let's move Theodoric up into a position where he can help cover that central area.
Holding position.
Now we've got 3 Terminators, but they failed to kill that Gene Stealer in the first square. But thankfully they get him before he can get into melee. And now it's starting to become a shooting gallery with 3 Terminators blasting away. Still only get 12 shots because they'll all shoot at the same targets, even if it's killed by a Terminator that shoots before them. They all shoot in Overwatch mode, so they'll burn through their ammo quite quickly. But it's effective. It's 3 chances to kill a target per shot, which really adds up. I mean, nothing really gets through it. And again, I'm just resigned to doing this very slow, very gradual advance, in the hopes that I can just slaughter anything that gets too close and push onto my target. Just getting closer by the minute, guys. Getting closer by the minute.
Overwatch.
So a bit nervy here because it's such a narrow gap there. But Theodoric does a good job keeping his squad mates safe. Broodlord goes down. Lots of targets are being slaughtered up in that northern spawn point. Micro missiles everywhere, leaving their little contrails. Which is kind of cool, I love that touch. So I decide to move, I think it's Markov, yeah, it's Markov I move. And he quickly shuts this spawn point down. I reload Theodoric's gun, I will do in a minute. I move Eberic up to support. I keep him not quite on the front line, because I want him to be in Overwatch mode as well. And I reload these guys.
Stay alert, brothers.
But leave them where they are for now. And again, nothing much gets through this wall of fire. Where they carry all the spare ammunition, I'll never know. Or how they load their guns with those huge power fists. Now here, we've got a nice long shot down this hallway now. So he stays there on Overwatch, while the others begin their advance towards... I don't know why I move Ebrick in here. No real need. Oh, I remember, yes. I was under the impression that Ebrick still had another mine at that point, with the intention, of course, being to permanently plug that spawn point and move forward with all 4 Terminators. But sadly, I don't think Ebrick did have a mine.
Securing position.
I move Markov forward. Just that he's got a slightly higher chance to hit anything that comes down that corridor in front of him.
Scanning for enemy movement.
Got a slow moving blip up there, probably a Broodlord. So I move Ebrick down, go to place a grenade and mine, and boop, nothing there. In fact, I realise at this point that I'm completely out of mines, and we'll have to do it the old-fashioned way. But that's okay. We move up. Get everybody into defensive positions. I bring Theodoric up to look down the western corridor. And it's not a Broodlord, it's just a normal Gene Stealer. So we move the Sergeant up, also facing down the western corridor, just to give us an extra chance to kill anything coming around that corner. Because of course, poor Markov's side is a little exposed there if a Gene Stealer manages to get around to that point. So instead of risking it, I move him forward 1 and just pray that nothing will kill him. And thankfully, all 3 of them blast that Gene Stealer into little pieces. And although he's firing across ways, he's actually shooting up at that northern spawn point. Doing an awesome job there of keeping those corridors clean. Feels like I have a little bit of a lapse in the number of Gene Stealers coming. You can see we've only got 2 on the scopes at the moment, so I'm relatively free. So I decide to take the Sergeant, as he's the most capable on his own, to go off towards the objective and arrange the others in positions where they can keep this corridor on the western side and this spawn point on the northern side under watch. There's a blocked door there, which is a bit of a pain. But we're getting there, guys, we're getting there. And these 2 are doing absolute work for us at the moment. Slaughtering Broodlords and extended carapace, Gene Stealers left, right and centre. As I said earlier, it's a shame that the game doesn't feature a sort of a system whereby corridors become blocked by the dead, because the number of bodies I've killed, the number of Gene Stealers I've killed in this mission, it would just be impossible for anything to get close. I look for a weapon to blast through the door. Thought the power sword maybe, go with an aim shot instead. 2 AP, but pretty much a guaranteed shot. And he waddles forward. No Gene Stealers on this side, thankfully, because we blocked that southern point at the bottom of the screen at the moment. They're all funneling to us from the northernmost spawn points, which has kept us rather safe, it has to be said. He does nothing as getting past our 2 guys there. He's out of ammo, but boy has he done a good job so far. We continue to push forward with our captain. Open the door there rather than waste the AP. Again, reload, take a shot because you never know, might as well. He misses, but I'm quite determined to get it. So I've got a few more shots before I have to reload again and then go on Overwatch. One more shot. So he's taken that Broodlord down to 1 hit point, which will make it a lot easier next movement.
Securing area.
And just make sure there's nothing he can shoot down there, and leave him on Overwatch. And there we go. 1 shot and that Broodlord's down. And just the blood all over that corridor up there, it's quite disturbing. I would hate to have to be the clean-up crew that went through this place afterwards. Now, maybe there's an idea for the guys who did Visceral Cleanup... can't say it now. Visceral Cleanup Crew. Yeah, set it on a Space Hulk after some Terminators have been through it. You'd be there a long time. There we go. Oh, we've completed the objective. Finally. Finally. After so many times. We have completed that objective. All we have to do now is get 3 of our guys out, and you can see here 3 of them waiting. I decided to take a chance with Theodoric. Bang 1. Trying to make up my mind who I should shoot. Bang 2. And bang 3. Really low chances of being able to hit there, but he managed it somehow. Which again, just helps reduce the swarm aspect of the game. Another Broodlord, misses it, but that's okay. He hits a lot of other targets. And again from the north we've got a host of Broodlords that he misses again. He manages to kill whatever that is, but we got another Broodlord coming down, and he runs out of ammo. And here we're kind of in trouble. We've got a lot of targets moving down now against just 2 Terminators. Theon's doing his best to get back, takes a shot but misses. You can see we've got 4 Broodlords and 2 Scything Talon Gene Sealers, and he only has 2 AP to play with really before he has to reload. Takes a shot against each. Does he? No. He takes a shot and misses. So he has to reload and then go back onto Overwatch. Or Overwatch and then reload, whichever way I do it. There we go. Now, 35% chance to hit with Theodoric. He catches the first shot, which means of course he gets the plus chance to hit for sustained fire, takes it down, and I decide to turn him north to help here, and with 1 shot he takes down that Broodlord, which was a pretty cool shot really. And we settle in and hope for the best here.
Securing area.
Because there are just so many, but again, Terminators versus Gene Stealers in an open area, Terminators will win most of the time. Unless it's situations like Extreme Prejudice where you just have so many that they run out of ammo. So again though, turning Theodoric north allowed the Western Gene Sealers to crop in again. So here's another one of these technical hiccups. You'll hear him actually fire in a second, I think. Yeah, but for some reason the game, this actually happened in game, it wasn't the video that paused, or the recording of the video that paused, the actual game did that, which was very bizarre. I'm not quite sure what's going on with the game, or whether it's my CPU or processor or the graphics card or something that's starting to glitch. I actually zoomed in here because I was getting a lot of slowdown. I was trying to rectify it, hoping it wouldn't pick up on the stream, which it doesn't seem to have done, thankfully. Take out the targets there, and we're going to turn to face back down the western corridor with him. He takes another shot. Theodoric was a blessing this game. He did so much work. With those 1-shot kills on some pretty tricky targets. And I really should have moved him forward one, which I think I did. Yes, I did. There we go. Didn't want to waste the AP, but couldn't put him on Overwatch. Another Broodlord. Gets a little bit further, that one. And I forgot to put Markov on Overwatch there. That's what happened. So, it's, yeah. And that was a stupid mistake to forget to put somebody on Overwatch. But we'll try our best here. What I really should have done was fired at those two Acid Maw Gene Stealers first and hoped that they would explode, which they do sometimes. Like that, see? He exploded and took out another Gene Stealer, but now I have to reload and go on to Overwatch, and here we've got a stack of Broodlords approaching. But again, Theodric pulls it out the bag there, gets one down, but misses on his other shots, I believe, and then has to go back into Overwatch. He does catch one more, okay. Caught one more shot there.
Securing position.
Theon does a good job, takes out two targets, or one target, and wounds the... I forgot again that I was still on the plasma, so I have to switch back to this bolter. Unfortunately I miss, but I've put him into Overwatch feeling pretty confident. You know, I've got two Terminators facing that way now. And they take them out quite handily. There we go. But they both missed the Broodlord again, which is kind of annoying.
We have contact.
These come in waves, the hits in this game. You know, you'll get a wave of misses and then a wave of perfect shots. I don't know what's going on there. Okay, so here at the moment I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to extricate my 4 Terminators. So I move him steadily forward, bring him into a position where he's going to be able to cover.
We have contact. Securing area.
And just settle everybody down for another turn of firing, I think. Oh yeah, that's right, we move Theodric down as well. Getting him ready to withdraw and actually pull him back out of the line of fire and just reload with him, figuring that I've got these areas covered. There is a dead zone I see now, but because of the way the AI works, they don't take advantage of it, which is lucky. Again, just the slaughter in this level. And we're so close now, we're so close. After the number of times we've been beaten on this. So, I resigned myself to a very slow withdrawal. We made a slow advance, we're going to make a slow withdrawal. Now, leaving with 5 ammo, which is a bit naughty, I should have left him with more, but I just wanted to try and get as much distance between myself and the Gene Stealers as possible.
They will fall.
And I was just kind of thinking that next turn I'm going to have to start thinking about moving
Securing area.
up Eberic so that he can extricate himself as well and actually move him forward 1 space. Just to get ready, because he's the guy I'm concerned about.
Yes, my lord.
He's got that spawn point behind him that's in a nightmare position, really. And they're starting to flank us a little bit, but I'm not too concerned.
They are close, brothers.
I've got Eberic over the other side, who should be able to cover that. And I just have a look here while they're firing away, just seeing exactly which route is fastest to get down to that spawn point, to that extrication point, sorry, the extraction point. Oh, good lord.
Yes, Commander.
He's out of ammo again. You can see now I'm starting to move back, but I'm also starting to isolate Ebrick, which was a bit of a mistake.
Affirmative.
Really. With hindsight, I should have been a little bit more controlled, a bit slower about it, I think.
Affirmative.
Gets his weapon reloaded, and I nearly moved him back there. I'm very tempted to. Here you see I just count it out first. Count out the distance first, and then make the call to move him so that I can bring Ebrick down. But it does mean that I'm down a Overwatch shot because of the way they're positioned. So I've got all my 4 Terminators together now. I'm feeling pretty good, to be honest. At this stage, I'm feeling pretty good as we start to push our way to the exit. And so I just move back a little bit further, move Markov into a position where he can, or start to move him into a position where he's going to be able to cover their retreat, the Terminator's withdrawal. So he runs kind of ahead of the others. He's going to cover this corridor soon.
Yes, my lord.
While the others begin a slow pull back.
The enemy will fall before me.
Again, not the same as going forward. You're opening distance up between the Gene Stealers and yourself, so it's good to move back as fast as you can. Because you're getting further and further away from their spawn points.
Securing position.
So you can see when I was advancing up this corridor, I was rarely moving more than 1 square coming up it. But when you're backing away from them, geez, run as fast as you can. Because they're just armed with claws, teeth, and a bad attitude. And again, overlapping fields of fire, not much that can get through that. Especially when your weapon doesn't overheat, and that's the beauty of the bolter. The beauty of the combi bolter is it just doesn't overheat as a weapon. There you go, taking out yet more of them. And you can see we've got a lot more Gene Stealers on this wave. And so it does seem to come in like waves. Not quite sure how they manage it or what they do to it. And I decide here to run Markov on ahead, I think. Yeah, all the way down to the bottom I think I move him. With the intention of coming around this bottom corridor and then facing him up towards the intersection. Yeah, blessed Overwatch. Learned my mistake from losing that Flamer Terminator. Hagen. Poor Hagen. Didn't even see what killed him. There you go. Mistake. Lesson learned. Continue your slow withdrawal back here. A debate here about what's the best way to come around this. And ultimately decide to put him there, although he's now out of AP, which wasn't the best decision to make. But I did need to get them around this tarantula, which was kind of in the way. As awesome as that weapon is, I mean, it's an amazing piece of war gear. Absolutely amazing. Does so much for you. Even with limited ammo. And they're starting to lose a little bit of that coherence of that gun line here. But you've still got good angles. Which I was just checking there. So they're both being able to cover these entrances. And you can just see anything that comes into that space is just slaughtered. And they have a little bit of ammo left at the end of that. And I think it's at this stage that I decide to, I decided to think, well, I'm so far ahead of the Gene Stealers, why don't I just run? My Terminators can move 6 or 7 squares a turn anyway.
With all due haste.
So why not just turn tail and run the heck out of there? But before I do, I decide to just give us a few extra squares leading.
They will fall.
Just to be on the safe side. Because of course the more squares distance you have where the heads start, the better it is. Because Gene Stealers move darn fast. Because they don't have to spend AP to turn or move diagonally. Which is a pretty big bonus. But a lot of them decide to stay safe this turn rather than poking their heads out. And you can see here, move Theodoric towards the exit as quickly as we can. Theon I keep behind, he's the sergeant. And you know, sergeants really should cover the retreat of their men. So I leave him on Overwatch. And I grab Eberic. And move him slowly backwards. I really could have run with him at this stage rather than waiting an extra turn.
Flank secured.
And I just reload Markov's gun. And Theon again. Doing absolute work, this guy. He did so well. I mean, they all did fantastic. I have to zoom in again because I'm getting massive slowdown for some reason. It's just a really bad day for it. I don't know what happened. Very annoying though. And here we go. First one out.
Hostile targets ahead.
Switch off that Overwatch. And it's time to bail. We run the heck away. And short of anything happening to Markov, we are safe. You got a few Gene Stealers trying to creep in. You can see how quickly they move now that the Terminators aren't shooting up there. I just measure it out there just to make sure where that Gene Stealer can get to. To make sure that I'm not going to end up... I can contemplate using the Flamer to block that corridor off. Which I could have done really, I should have done I think. But I decided not to. And decided to just run instead. And he's not quite in range. Not quite in range. But thankfully, as you can see, none of the Gene Stealers can reach him. They decide to take out their frustrations on the poor Tarantula turret, blowing it the heck up. But that's it. They failed to catch the Terminators. And boom. Done. We finally got past it, guys. We finally... 52 turns. 52 turns. We lost one Terminator to a stupid mistake. I think I could have done it, but look at that. 374 kills. 210 by Theon himself. Absolutely amazing. And we get Hagen back. Bizarrely enough. Hagen returns to the fold, even though he died. So maybe he wasn't that badly injured. But look at that. 210 kills. 500 XP. I don't think I've killed more Gene Stealers than that before. I think that's a new record for me. But there we go. None of my guys leveled up. Doesn't matter though. Hope you've enjoyed it. I'm sorry for the technical issues and for having to do a voiceover post recording. Hope you enjoyed this episode. I had a really good time playing this level and I'm so glad that I've passed it without having to do lots of trawling through other Hulks. Hope to see you again next time. Until then, feel free to comment, subscribe, like, all that fun stuff on the channel, and I will see you again next time. Bye bye for now.